Hey, everybody.
Hello there.
Hey, everybody.
Welcome to SexyNerdScience, Season 4, Episode 3.
Or Episode 2 of me going, hello there.
I hate you. We have a great show, as always, for you. But first, some housekeeping business.
This episode of Sexy Nerd Science is brought to you by SexyNerdScience.com/audible. Make sure to join Sexy Nerd Science and get your free 1-month trial and free audiobook from Audible and listen to some great books like Bill Nye's Unstoppable and Ready Player One and Armada and some other great audiobooks.
Probably any book that you can think of that you would like to read. I think they even have the Bible audiobook.
Yeah, they have the Bible app. You don't even need to listen to the audiobook. You can just get the app and it reads it for you. My mom listens to that all the time.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's weird.
You're just supposed to agree we're trying to sell.
I mean, yeah, use Audible to listen to the Bible.
So today in Sexy News, we're going to start off with a little bit of Dale and Josh's weekend.
Adventures with Dale and Josh.
So Dale, Josh, what did you guys do this past weekend?
Well, we went to the North American International Auto Show in...
Or the NAIAS.
NAIAS, yes, in Detroit. So Josh came and visited me last weekend.
This was supposed to be a trip for all of us.
It was. But some people couldn't make it.
It would have been a lot better of a trip, too, if I could have slept in the back while someone else drove instead of...
I would have loved to do that. You know why? Because I've never got to drive the Tesla.
I would have let you. The way back, I wouldn't have let you do shit, though. And we'll talk about that later.
Point is, we went and saw a bunch of different cars, bunch of different car companies, and it's every year in Detroit. But me and Josh had a great time there, and then we walked around Detroit on the day after that. So, Josh, what was your favorite part of the? Well, do you guys know what the auto show is? I mean, like Drew, I know Josh has been to it because he was born in Detroit. But like, is that something that you guys hear a lot in Nebraska?
I mean, we have auto shows like here, like they have smaller ones, but this one obviously is an international auto show, so it's probably a bigger deal.
Yeah, they definitely have car companies from not just North America, but all over the world. Different car companies come. However, the one biggest thing is a lot of the supercar companies don't usually show up. If they do, they send like one or two concept cars or one or two, like, hey, look at this. Like, I think we saw one company that did like detailing for the entire car, and they actually had a Lamborghini, and that was the only Lamborghini I believe that I saw on the entire floor, which was weird.
Wait, so that was at this most recent show? There was a Lamborghini? Yeah,
it was called Rally Cars or something was the brand name.
The Rally Kings.
Rally Kings. And so they had a Lamborghini and then a bunch of other like BMWs and like Audis and a bunch of other stuff. What?
The GTR.
Like the
fantastic looking GTR.
I'm not familiar.
Like the newest GTR?
Yeah.
You guys didn't do you guys not take a picture of it?
I got a picture of it.
Oh my gosh, I really want to see it.
I don't think we have the
I didn't take a video of it.
Did you take a video of the GTR?
No, I didn't take a video. I only took a video of the Lamborghini from Rally Kings. But we saw a ton of different cars. Alfa Romeo was there. GAC, which is a Chinese company there. And then obviously Ford, Chevy, which I didn't see Chrysler. Did you see Chrysler?
Is that an actual new GTR, or is that just the 2017 model?
That's the 2017 model. Like, it's the newest one. But I'm trying to think if I think Chrysler was in, this is going to sound really bad. We skipped Toyota, Kia, Hyundai, pretty much everything that was in the back. And I think Chrysler was actually in the back there.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I didn't see it. I saw that, I know we missed a few things. We saw the Kia Hamster walk by. We were sitting down and the Kia Hamster walked by and we were like, we should get a video of that. But yeah, there was tons of different car vehicles. me and Josh had the availability or the capacity, capability, whatever. We actually recorded a bunch of video, a few pictures and whatnot of the entire auto show, or highlights that we thought were good enough to show you guys. So we're going to release that on YouTube hopefully here by the weekend. It's mostly put together, but just a few more things I want to do to it. But overall, I think it was a fantastic time. I put a few things down here because I kind of wanted to get your opinion, Josh, on a few of the, the favorite part, favorite car brand, and favorite car, just from what you saw at the auto show.
I would say that my favorite part would have to be the VR experience with the
Volkswagen.
VW. I thought that VR experience was really good. It was not the Oculus. It was what's the other?
Vive?
The Vive. Yeah, so it was the Vive.
I noticed it from the images. I could tell.
And I thought it was fantastic. I love that. So I guess the Vive has a camera on the front of it that can see your hands. So that was good. But plus, I could see when they were calibrating it, there were 4 receivers throughout the room that were monitoring my position and everything else like that.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing I liked is, it was a virtual reality experience where you go and you hit a button, it opens up the door. You hit another button, it closes the door. You hit another button, it moves the seats around. But it was like an immersive experience, and I thought that was really fun. That was probably my favorite part. And then getting inside and taking like a virtual test drive of their concept car, that was pretty awesome. Favorite car brand, probably going to have to give this to Daniel's going to be really happy. I liked a lot of the BMWs. The BMWs looked really good. I honestly think that BMW is a great car manufacturer, as well as having really good electric vehicles, like looking electric vehicles. The i8 Roadster, the i8 Coupe, all of them were just...
Oh, the i8 Roadster was electric?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I didn't realize that.
All the i8s are electric, but they're gas-powered electric motor. So gas-powered, like hybrid motor, but they're plug-in hybrid, like they're plug-in electrics. So, and you also fill it up with gas too as well. So you can use pure gas or pure electric. You can't use pure gas because the gas just runs the hybrid electric motor. But it's, like I said, it's a fantastic looking car. I think that's probably my favorite brand. I loved their overall look and feel. I liked the M series is probably, if I had to get specific though, I like the M series better. And then my favorite car was probably going to be the VW concept. I was telling Drew that if they had that car out right now and my payments would stay the same as what I have for Tesla, and it would deliver on everything that it offered, full autonomy and just that interior and that design, I would probably sell my Tesla and get that car.
Was it on par with maybe the Model X style, or is it even more advanced
as
than that?
far as like
because it was a SUV, right?
It was like, yeah, SUV crossover. So it was a smaller SUV, but
so almost the size of
interior
the
space, I'd
X?
say, yeah, very close to that. Especially one of the things that you were able to do is from a touch of a button, you could lay the back seats down, and then you could also lay the passenger seat completely flat. And so it had a virtualization of like you hit a button, it lays the back seats down. Actually, it laid just one side of the back seats down and then the front seat, and then someone put their surfboard in there. And that was something I remember from the Model X reveal, where Elon Musk was actually like, you can even fit a whole surfboard in the car. And he did that. Fit a surfboard in the car.
You know what he didn't do in the preview?
Sit next to me.
Fit 2 couches and 8-foot banner, and that was in the Model S.
We have to get a picture of that next time.
I was really...
Or like you guys load it up and we'll record a time lapse of just like us unloading.
Well, I was gonna say we both can record a time lapse on our phones. Just plan them up. Do one like in the dash, and then one of us outside.
Yeah, that'd be good. We'll figure out the logistics later. But my favorite part, if you don't, care, you guys want to hear my favorite part?
Yeah,
of course, Dale.
Awesome. So I think my favorite part was the Ford area. I know I work for Ford, same thing, like whatever. It was huge. It had a lot of stuff to do. We actually did a simulation on the new Ford Ranger that's came out or is coming out in 2019. And it's, there was tons of other things you could do, and everything was videotaped, and you could get all that video later to watch it, which was nice in my opinion. Space was big. I thought it was laid out pretty nice. They had charging areas. They had plenty of spots to sit. I thought overall it was pretty nice. Not that I, didn't enjoy the rest of the place, but I just thought that one stood out to me in my head.
They definitely, I'm not trying to interrupt. Ford definitely got the cream of the crop as far as like space and area for it. Like,
I think they're in the same spot every year because when you go to the outside of the building, remember we were going up to the People Mover?
Yeah.
They have a Ford entrance. So it was for Ford employees, Ford everything. So I think every year they're in that exact same spot because we exited out of there 2 years ago and I worked for Sequin.
Okay. Yeah, that was the best spot. Like everybody else kind of got the shaft as far as like Ford got top priority.
Which I thought, again, made it, kind of stand out in my head. Favorite car brand, I would have to say the VW stood out to me this year. You did the VW VR experience. I wasn't lucky enough to do that, but the concept car, I have a few images of it from the auto show. You can watch that. It's the red one we imaged or we videoed. That it was I thought it was on par with Tesla's, the ways, the look, the form, whatnot. It was all electric, like we talked about. I'm really into that electric car being the future, just like you are, Josh. So I definitely like when any company jumps on the bandwagon and says, okay, let's do this. Let's release vehicles that are all electric. Like right now, Ford only has one electric car that's the Focus, I believe. Everything else is a hybrid or energy, which it's a freaking hybrid. So I thought VW stood out. My favorite car, though, I would have to say is the Chevy Bolt. As the only car I sat in. I'm impressed with the stats behind it. It's a U.S. car, I mean, not U.S. because Tesla's U.S., but also it's one of the big three. They came out with an electric car. I still think that they hit the nail on the head perfectly with the car itself. Obviously, it's not full autonomy, not a lot of updates, all that information. Probably, I didn't even check the engine. Engine's probably in the front, just like normal. They don't have like a front boot like the Tesla does. But I still think that it's a step in the right direction. It rivals the mileage. It has a few other features that I like over what Tesla has, even though the autonomy obviously stands out by itself for Tesla. But that's what car was my favorite car. I know we talked about this too long, but
I was not allowed to talk about my Tesla while I was at the auto show. Everyone said, like, Josh, for every time you mention the words my Tesla, like you have to give us each $1. And I think it came up to like I had to owe people like $8 by the end of the night.
Yeah, I was like, me and Kyle just did it 4 times to you.
I could have. I thought it was more than that, but
so like 4 times each is like $8.
Yeah, I had to like literally. I was like, I hate to do this. I had a bet with my friends that I wasn't going to say this, but who cares? And like I was talking to the VW guy. I was like, in my Tesla, and then Dale's like, counting it.
Well, I mean, if you talk to people downstairs with the career fair, I didn't hear any of that.
Oh yeah, I talked about that at the career fair a lot too, which was actually another part that was pretty cool of the auto show that wasn't necessarily exclusive to the auto show.
Well, that was interesting because Cobo Center, which is where the auto show was this year, every year, they have the upstairs, which is the main floor, and then downstairs is usually like they show off a few, like they showed off actually the year we went in 2014. The year prior, I worked on an electric vehicle, electric like go-kart almost, and that was there to show off, and I worked on that. And they do a bunch of other stuff with universities and then like local stuff, and then concept. And I think a Tesla or two is usually down there. Military stuff is down there. A bunch of really cool stuff. This year, None of that was down there. I think I saw one or two things, and it was all like a career fair. Like half it was broken up into businesses with different sections of the automotive industry, autonomy, mobility, a few other things. And the other side of the building was different schools that you could either apply to or you work with or something like that. I didn't go over there because I'm already graduated.
Yeah, different programs and stuff you could enroll in.
Neat. Well, I'm gonna do this real quick as well, even though I wasn't there, just from the highlights because we talked a lot about it before we recorded. My favorite part of the highlights that we saw was the Subaru that was on the luge track. I'm gonna go look at the actual video, but I guess a Subaru did a luge, and there's a picture of it like basically 90 degrees to the ground, and however that actually equates in the actual luge, if they did or did not do it. But can't wait to watch that video. And then my favorite car that I saw was the Energy?
The
Enverge,
yeah.
GAC. I still think I know that you're like, I don't think it'll sell, but man, it's a slick looking car.
So for those of you guys that don't know that are listening to the podcast, GAC is a Chinese auto manufacturer. I don't want to butcher the name for what G stands for.
It's an acronym. Let's just say that.
Yeah. But it's and it was actually, I know it sounds dumb, but like every time they said the name, like I was just like, oh, cool. Because like they didn't just say G and C, like they're like at this auto company, like, and I was just like, oh, it's so cool. Like it sounds like it's a cool company name. But like Guangzhou Automotive or Automobile Group, I think is what it is. Guangzhou. But it's so it's one of like, so it's from what the guy said at the thing, it is the largest Chinese auto manufacturer, and it makes it the second largest auto manufacturer in the world. Simply because of how many people are in China. And they also sell cars outside of China, but there's a lot of new things coming, and just beautiful looking cars, a lot of electric hype on them. And then the one specifically that we got a video of that I was attracted to when I walked by was the Enverge. And so that's what Drew was talking about. That's the one he likes. And definitely check out the video, please, because it's
this thing has a feature that I've always said was like my dream feature in a car. Is it's almost a gull wing door. It's not actually a gull wing door. It's like a winged door, but not gull. But a full door for both the front and back seat. So you're like, it's like almost like a coupe. However, you don't have to pull the front seat forward to get in the back seat or anything. So, and that's a feature that I've always said, man, if a car just did that, even if it wasn't a gull wing, like just a big, like my, specifically why I got the Veloster is because it's got the larger driver door. I almost don't, if I had my seat like a couple clicks forward, I wouldn't even have to click it forward. But
so you know how like vans, like minivans, kind of like the back door pops out and then slides along the body. Yeah. I think that feature, there's a few cars in when I saw on Top Gear, obviously I watched Top Gear a lot, or did, and then now the Grand Tour, there's actually a few small or a few brands of car over there that actually, you have the front and back, it's small like a Golf or like an Escort or something, and the entire car pops out, or the entire door pops out for both front and back, and then slides along a track on the top and bottom, and then it, you have a door where it doesn't open up. You can get in and out of the vehicle without having to, ding the car next to you. The profile is so small comparatively, and I thought that is, a really good idea. I don't know why they don't utilize that more in vehicles. Like even if you had, excuse me, even if you had a front door that kind of went along the track forward, or maybe the option to open. I don't know. I think it could be utilized more in the United States.
Yeah,
especially with small spots and whatnot.
I definitely agree. I've seen a couple of vehicles, specifically like the Ford Flex, I think it is. It's pretty square on the side, that you could basically make one full door and have it slide back like a van and utilize that kind of space like you're talking about.
I would be worried that that kind of track in like collisions and stuff might become damaged and make it impossible to open up the door in a timely manner. And I think that might be why they don't do it like that all the time. And I understand like regular doors can do it, but I bet like if you were to compare like side impacts to like the sliding rail versus traditional open up doors, I bet there's something that
I'm fairly sure that that's, I mean, I guarantee that that's not a.
So this is just a car I found from online. The mechanism is actually on the inside, and so when you open and close it, it slides out, and then the profile is so small comparatively.
Huh.
I like it. That looks pretty.
But yeah, so I mean, but like Josh was saying, I guarantee that because like if you get a side impact, get T-boned or whichever, the chances of the latch mechanism not at least doing a one-time open, to get out is probably low, because I mean, no matter what, even a force of a side impact collision, that's pretty neat.
There's another one too.
Even the force of a side impact collision would be able to, probably be able to open at one time, but those tracks. But like I said, on that, like, I'm sure there's something, I don't know. I mean, wouldn't you think like a minivan getting T-boned would be the same kind of thing?
Yes, but I think
there's
like the
other
driver
doors,
and like the passenger door both have the regular doors. So if there was, opening it from the outside might be easier than trying to open it from the inside too.
Yeah.
But I mean, I just, there's a couple, I mean,
there's thought that needs to go into
what would be there. And also like one of the things too, that we're going to have problems with GAC is American motor companies have a lot higher standards for engine performance. They have higher standards for safety. They have higher standards for like blind spots. I mean, there's a lot of standards that need to be met by international automakers.
And not anymore though. Everything as of 2018 should be the same throughout every country except South America.
Of course. Thanks, Brazil.
Yep. Actually, it is Brazil mostly.
I know. One of my friends who lives in Brazil, like, she was telling me about how she has like this really nice car, and I looked it up and I was like, holy crap, like this is such a great car. Like, why don't we have them in the United States? And then like I looked at like mortality rates for that car, and it's like 80% of the people that are in accidents over 45 miles an hour just die. Like it's a terrible death trap of a vehicle.
Well, the issue is like with GAC, being a large manufacturer, their standards and their way of doing business is standardized. They follow the rules. They follow, emission standards. They follow safety standards. And the people who make the vehicles follow those standards as well. The biggest issue is there are, not even joking you, hundreds to almost thousands of small car companies that have no branding, no whatever, that build a car from either scraps or they've been building it just out of the back of a small warehouse or somewhere, all over China, all over Asia in general, and they don't meet the safety standards. So as far as, other countries meeting standards, more westernized or more policed, if you will, countries follow those standards, no problem. But companies that just, build cars out of their back, what are you going to do?
Well, I know, like, I mean, Europe and stuff has different emission standards than the United States does. That's one of the reasons why you can still currently get certain VW vehicles and other European versions of cars that you can't buy in the United States, is because they would not pass emission tests in the United States, but they do pass the emission standards in countries like Germany and stuff like that.
Exact opposite, though. They're actually leaner than they are here.
The VW
again, this is as of 2018, so everything's moving forward.
There's a new VW that just came out that was in Germany that has it's a diesel engine, so it has more CO2 emissions than the the U.S. version of the car.
Well, that's
diesel
because
motor also.
Yeah, it's a diesel motor. And so like in the United States, we don't utilize diesel cars. There's a few VWs, very few diesel cars on the road at all. But again, diesel standards are different than gas.
Yeah, I will say this too. I'm not impressed by the current lineup of the Jettas. It looked like there were 14 Jettas in the VW area over there. And the things that really drew me to VW were the Bug, the Golf, and that concept car. Like, I could care less about all the Jettas.
Yeah.
But
okay, but I think that's enough with car branding right now. We've been talking about it for 20-something minutes.
Who cares? Just kidding.
Yeah, no, you're good. We got a lot of stuff to talk about.
Big part of our trip.
Oh, yeah, it was fun, and I enjoyed all of it.
So what is next on our list here?
So you guys familiar with the Larry Nassar story?
Larry Nassar, yes.
So for those of you guys who are not familiar, he was the head physician for the U.S. gymnastics team. He was also part of the time during that time frame. He also worked at the Michigan State University here in Michigan. And during that time, he sexually assaulted, is what they're saying, but a lot of it involves rape, obviously, more than 150 different girls under the age. Obviously, doesn't really. I guess, does that matter?
Well,
that's a conversation for another day, I guess.
No, so it does matter. I mean, a lot of these were minors, and he actually was arrested for child pornography, which is something that he was arrested for, possession of that. And then they used that to start this investigation of him, because apparently this has been a known problem for a while. And the gymnastics team and a couple of, I mean, it just kept getting passed off. People, I mean, I'm not saying that the U.S. gymnastics team was like, oh yeah, we totally know and we're compliant, but they were at least like, well, we're not going to
blind eye.
Yeah, we're not going to investigate this any further than, what needs to be done, so we're not liable. And but yeah, I mean, it was over 150, and over 100 of them testified in court against him too, which I thought was a very powerful thing.
Well, yeah, it's a lot more than you would not necessarily expect, but then you hear about. You hear of a lot of people trying to or wanting to remain anonymous, and for 2/3 of that amount to, it's a big voice.
Yeah. And for those of you that were familiar with like the Olympics team, the gymnastics team from a couple years ago with Michaela Maroney and the rest of those team. Michaela Maroney was one of the people affected by this. And she has been very open about the problems that she's faced with this. Had a non-disclosure agreement that she agreed to when she was a minor, and was not able to press charges against or testify against him up until the time when like the U.S. gymnastics team was like, hell no, like we are not going to hold this non-disclosure agreement to law. Like, you can go ahead and testify. We will not persecute you for doing this. So that was a big thing. I know Chrissy Teigen got on board with that. That was a real big controversy for there. But I think the thing that I can take away from this that is really, really the best thing from it, the sentencing was it's a precedent, a legal precedent that's going to be started for cases like this. And I mean, this is kind of a time period where sexual harassment, sexual assault are in the news more and more. It's almost every day somebody new has some allegations or things like that against them. And, once the investigation's concluded and, you find out, you have evidence for more than 150 girls. I think this judgment, this ruling was a terrific thing. 175 years in prison was what the sentence came to be served consecutively. So there's the maximum sentences that they have to send or serve consecutively each time. So even if you were to ever be paroled for one of the terms, he still has to serve the next term and would have to get paroled for that, and then serve the next term, get paroled for that, to the point where he's basically just going to die in prison. Like, I mean, there's no way to live. I mean, yeah, obviously no one's going to live to be 175, but the fact that they're going to,
Well, I mean, how old is he now?
probably, I think he's in his 50s.
I was like, if he was born today, he would survive to
That's what I'm
175.
saying.
But it's one of those things where I think the judge said it best. She said, I essentially just signed your death warrant when she was doing this. And I don't mean to quote Philip DeFranco here, but it was on his show this morning as well. Like, he literally was like, I've never knew that a judge could be that savage, like, in the courtroom, because she was letting them have it as a judge.
Welcome to Detroit, bitch.
Yeah. Well, he had a document that he had written up and notarized and stuff like that, saying that all these testimonies against him were affecting his mental health, and that he couldn't be in the courtroom while these testimonies were being given against him. And like, the judge is literally like, this document is as worthless as the paper that it's written on. And she just like tore it up in the middle of the courtroom. Like, I was just like, oh man, that's a savage judge.
So basically, she made him listen to the people who testify against him.
Yep.
Man.
And it's definitely going to be, I mean, like I said, it's a good legal precedent to start, to, you know, criminals that do this kind of stuff. It's not going to be something that you can get away with. And I hope more girls will come forward in the future for things like this. So
we hope less girls come forward, but we hope if any girls do come forward, or any girls,
I hope that less people are affected by this.
I get it.
But I want to encourage the people to come forward and have the courage for that kind of stuff, because it's a big deal. Like, I mean, and the rallying behind the support that people are giving right now.
I mean, it's I mean, yeah, we'll talk about that a different day.
But I did want to mention one more thing. The president of Michigan State University, because he did work at Michigan State University for a brief time, which he did sexually assault girls while he was there as well. It's kind of hard to piece together based on the information I know online, but either Michigan State, again, knew about it or was complacent about it, or something where they knew about it ahead of time and did nothing about it. And it's my understanding that one of the main representatives from Michigan State said something inappropriate or was like, oh, this is no big deal. And so the president of Michigan State University is stepping down before the end of the week, which, you know, kind of is a big deal here in Michigan. You know, Michigan State's a big if you guys are familiar with football at all, this is kind of on par, and I was listening to sports radio just recently. This is kind of on par with how Penn State reacted to Joe Paterno.
Exactly.
It's very, very similar to that.
Yep.
That mentality. I mean, like, you know, a week ago, everybody was like, yeah, go Michigan State with whatever sport. And now people are not even wearing their jerseys or wearing their, you know, memorabilia. I don't have to worry about that because, you know, Michigan fan. But you know what I mean?
Yeah, I was going to say that it definitely reminds me of a lot of the situation with Penn State, the Jerry Sandusky things, where Joe Paterno, I feel honestly, like, Jerry Sandusky's in jail, and that's, you know, great. But like, Joe Paterno, until he died, basically, I mean, all his titles were stripped, all of his plaques, statues, everything of him in the University of Penn State was removed because of, again, complacency. You know, not necessarily, you know, advocating for this, but, you know, only doing the bare minimum. And then when he even saw that nothing was getting done, continued to just let it slide. That's kind of the same problem here.
And I didn't think that complacency was a thing. I know it sounds weird, but like, if somebody was to tell me that something like this is happening, I don't know. It just seems like to me, I wouldn't stop until it was taken care of.
You
Or
have
be
a legal
constantly on that.
obligation, but you also have a moral obligation. And
Yeah, exactly.
The legal obligation was met by both Joe Paterno and the president of Michigan State, but I think the moral obligation, where society, puts this judgment call on there, more needed to be done than just what was done. But I think we should talk about some happy peacetime news. Actually, something that's relatively good news, and I'm really excited to see how our president is going to spin this.
Well, I mean, let's say what it is first. So for this 2018 Winter Olympics, the North and South Korean teams will join together to become one team, just as Korea, for the women's ice hockey. And I believe they're doing something else. Is it field hockey?
I think so.
Something else. I thought it was more than one sport, but I know the women's ice hockey is definitely one. So they're going to play as one team in the 2018 Olympics. But as Josh saying, this is a good thing. It's a good thing and it's not a good thing.
Yep.
Yeah.
And the
Did
easiest
the Olympic committee go through and approve it?
I believe they did.
Okay.
Yep.
Because I know that was still up in the air
Mm-hmm.
the last time I heard.
So
about it.
what's the reason for them doing just Korea? Is it? I mean,
I think it's one thing is peace talks. It's one big thing that they are coming together and figuring out a common ground. And North Korea has always been, or not always, but at least has always, for the most part, participated in the Olympics. And I think this time they're wanting to show solidarity while also showing complacency. Another complacency thing. It's one of those things where they'd rather act like everything is okay to the world, where they don't realize that it's not, and we see past their charade. There was I believe it was somebody, the Prime Minister of Japan, he was saying that for North Korea to come to talks or to become one Korea, this is showing that the sanctions that are currently on them are working, and that we should continue these sanctions until other humanity, of things are met. Not just, let's join together in a sport. Let's, feed people. Let's take care of people. Housing, health. Get people out of work camps. A billion other things that could be fixed. And is this a step in the right direction? I don't think so. I think this is just a charade. It's nothing more than that. There's a lot of protests going on in Seoul. What now?
Wool over the sheep's eyes.
Exactly. I think it's nothing more than that. Like I said, there's a bunch of protests going on in Seoul. People are protesting in the United States, a few other countries as well. But this is just a. I mean, you can look at it as maybe a step forward, but it's so small of a step.
It's
it's
drop
negligible.
In the bucket.
It's a drop in the bucket.
If it is something that is, that's gonna be like I'm hopeful to be like, hey, this is an actual good thing here, because from what a lot of North Koreans that have made it out of North Korea, it's not necessarily it's not the North Koreans' fault for any of the stuff that's happening to them as much
definitely
as
not.
it is, specifically the upper class, the
leadership.
the entire Kim family is part of the reason why all this is a problem.
Is it?
And that's something that I agree with Japan. This probably does show that the sanctions are working. But to be fair, I feel like this is such a small gesture. It's big if North Korea wants it to be a big thing. It's big and positive for North Korea if and only if North Korea wants it to be big and participates in it in a correct way and uses this as a stepping stone to further negotiate and open up peace talks and to dismantle nuclear arsenals, or at least be more transparent with that and have open dialogue and communication. Like, if those steps happen, that's good. What we don't want to do is, I don't think we want to act as a villain to give the Kim family any reason to say, like, the United States, the United Nations, the Olympic Committee, they're all our enemy because they won't even let us show this act of good faith. I think, we can still keep the sanctions. We can still do everything like that and still allow them to participate and get some forward progress moving. Because I don't think the people of North Korea want to be separated. I don't think the people of North Korea really actually believe, God, our podcast is probably going to get hacked now. I don't believe that they are really, if anything, they're just brainwashed for the longest time about how great North Korea is and how much the United States wants everybody in North Korea dead.
Take all 120 hours of audio content from us for free.
So actually, there was just about a year ago a YouTube channel called Asian Boss, and they actually do a lot of stuff with North Korean defectors. They try to get a hold of them. They try to see, and actually just watched 2 videos of them just recently. So this is kind of nice that we're talking about it. One is what North Korean defectors think of North Korea after 10 years of being in South Korea. And then there's another one, what does North Koreans think about South Korea in general? So both of them are worth watching. I'll try to post them both down in the description. Definitely worth watching. But it was very interesting because they both thought South Korea was almost like heaven. And that's one of the big words they used, was this place, because they spent some time in China. And China and Korea, and if for anybody that knows geography, are on the border with each other. South Korea or North Korea and China are on the same, are connected, but the languages are completely different. So it's like somebody speaking English talking to somebody who speaks Spanish. You don't understand it. It's not the same at all. And it's one of those things where when you know Korean, or when you know this language, and then you go to another country who you have the freedom to do whatever you want. You can make money very easily, or
but you also know the language.
You know the language, know the people. People are more kind to you. They had people working with them and trying to get places. It was one of those things where everyone got on the plane flying from the different places to South Korea. They were like, welcome to South Korea. We welcome you. And they're like, you welcome us? What? This is unheard of. You want us to be here? Because North Korean didn't want them. China didn't want them. They named a few other places that they went, didn't want them. So I definitely will link them down below. It's definitely worth watching. Again, like what Josh was saying, it's not the people of North Korea that anybody should be protesting or anybody should be hating on. Those people are victims of a dictator. So the leadership of the oligarchy of the place. So it opens your eyes on different things, but definitely check those out. Anybody else?
North Koreans try American barbecue.
Same channel.
Yeah, fantastic video. Because some of those people have never had anything other than mustard for like a season.
Condiment.
Yeah. And I mean the fact that like they're trying brisket
terrible.
And like cow is super luxurious, and this dude's like, yeah, this is brisket meat. Like you can have as much as you want. I mean it's an eye-opening thing, and I encourage people to learn more about North Korea. Just don't go to their website because it's all lies.
You're the worst.
It is.
All right. So we're gonna get into nerdy news now. I know that sexy news was a little drawn out, but so we talked a little bit last time about Fortnite and PUBG. and how the similarities between those. However, I had not played Fortnite yet, and I did play Fortnite this last week a couple of times, and I thought it was pretty good.
Do you have a higher frame rate than 12?
What?
Did you have a higher frame rate than 12?
What do you mean?
Frames per second?
Yes.
Because when we were playing Overwatch, it was very low, remember?
Oh, I was playing it on my Xbox.
Never mind.
For those of you listening on the podcast, Dale just rolled his eyes.
Yeah. But I
think we're done recording for the day. Thanks for joining us, everybody.
Dale's got to go play some more PC because I'm not playing enough for both of us. But I played it, Dale. This is where I was at. I played the game, and I thought it was good. You had said I should play it, so I did. It was nice. I liked the building feature that you had talked about. It was actually really cool. I then, after playing it, saw a video, and this is not anything to joke about, but the guy had built himself. In the game, if you get a bad round or whatever, you don't want to be in the game, so you have to kill yourself. And he built a tower to nowhere and jumped off, so he would die. I saw a video about that. It was pretty funny. Yeah, so I played the game. It was really neat. I liked the art style of it. It's not realistic, and that's some of the things I like about Halo and other shooter games that are not realistic, like Call of Duty and Battlefront and everything. Those are really realistic games, just like PUBG. You've got earthy tones and stuff, but with Fortnite and Halo, you've got red versus blue and those bright colors. So it's definitely a change in the game. It was a little bit of getting used to, but because obviously I've been playing PUBG a lot, but yeah. And then switching it up a little bit, completely off of video electronic games, we ended up picking up basically a card game called Drop Mix, and it is phenomenal. I love this game. We played it probably like a dozen times since we got it last week.
Coolest card game since Yu-Gi-Oh!
Yeah. So this game, Dale, I'm not sure if you're familiar, if you've done a little bit of research on your end. I'm sure you have or are currently. So this game is a game board made by Hasbro. And all these cards, you get a pack of 60 cards, and they all have snippets of popular songs, either the instrumental tracks, the vocal track, or any sort of like the rhythm track, drums, piano, guitar, violin, like violin tracks or anything like that. And all the cards have an NFC or chip or board. What would you call it? More so like a board, not a chip, because it's.
Yeah, I mean, I'll just say a sensor.
Yeah,
NFC sensor that are in each card, and you lay the cards out on the board, and it creates basically a mix of those and loops those tracks together. And there's a point system that there's a point system that you can use when you play against each other. There's like a 2 versus 2 or 1 versus 1 option for it. But it's very neat. I really like it. A lot of the time we just do the freestyle. There's something like, I think there's like 200 cards total for it that you can get. It comes with 60. You can buy card packs, $5 for a 5-pack of cards. Which seems kind of expensive. It's like $1 a card. But it's very interesting. But another feature that it has is you can actually, if you like the mix that you do, if like it's really nice for you, you can save it, and you can play it back through the app without having to have like the board on or anything like that. It takes four AA batteries, and you can sync any tablet up through the app that you have. Yeah,
It looks really cool based on just what the pictures and whatnot.
I put the tablet on. I put on my tablet so I can, dink around my phone and when I'm just doing freestyle or whichever. But it's just really nice to have the bigger screen. It's but then I also have a Bluetooth speaker that I linked up to the tablet, so it plays kind of like a party mode. But yeah, that's a really neat game I liked.
Pick up your tablets at AT&T authorized retailer locations on 144th and West Maple.
And then on your
tablets, don't do that.
And on your tablets, you can listen to Audible and get a free trial at SexyNerdScience.com/Audible.
Wow,
it's a $14 value.
Yeah, it looks like a fun game, Drew.
Yeah, it's really neat.
How much was it to just buy off the shelf? You said.
So it was $100 to buy off shelf. Best Buy price matched it for $80. But
so what made you get it? What made you get it then? I mean, like you played before.
We went to a party for a birthday party for another friend like 2 weeks ago, and they had it, and we played it for like 4 hours that night, like just dinking around. Cool. We played a couple different rounds, and then we just like freestyled. Like we would just walk by and put a card on, and change it like when we were just walking around, like it was like the music, so it was very, very fun. But we just tossed it on. It was like, went out one day, put on a credit card. It was like, hey, we want this game real bad. So
these are people's DJing careers that we're making a video or a game out of.
Yeah.
Just like Monopoly made a game out of being a banker. Like that's how trivial your job is.
Yeah. I mean, realistically, some of the things that it does is very interesting. Like
I've noticed now that you said it, I remember there's a couple people on Facebook that have shared their mixes, and I'm like, oh man, this is a good mix. Like,
yeah. I mean, it's very like you can and like so headphone. Like, yeah. So we can you can basically get every section. So like the board has 4 color options. You've got rhythm, or you've got the drum rhythm track. You've got like a lead keys or guitar. You've got a backup guitar of some sort, or it's a beat, rhythm, like a lead. What would that be called? I can't think of the word.
I was like, you're on the right path. Lead.
With a lot of it.
No, I'm not talking about. I'm just talking about music. Like there's a rhythm.
Yeah.
There's a beat. There is a rhythm, which would be like the drums or the backup or the bass guitar. And then you've got the lead guitar or sound, and then the vocal track. We'll just call it those. So you can almost get every section for each song that they have. Like I've got Sia's Chandelier vocals and the rhythm track by it, or Call Me Maybe's vocal track, and then the rhythm track for that. So you can pretty much get every section in the additional packs. There's something that GameStop was doing when the game came out, where you could get the Transformers opening credits theme as like a giveaway card. So we're gonna get one of those. They have a couple extra ones at GameStop, but yeah, I'm really excited for that. I mean, like just to have that game. Like I'll pull it out and just play it.
Transformers, robots in sky.
Well, those things are going for like $50 on the internet right now.
That's right.
It's crazy. I looked them up because I was like, well, let's just buy one. It was like $60. I was like, what?
Yeah.
But yeah, so go ahead.
So besides making your own beats and creating things, Dale and I got to do a thing at Pewabic Pottery in Detroit, a charity event that they do every year called Empty Bowls. And one of the things that I loved about it, so basically it's all reclaimed clay. So stuff that, I mean, essentially is just waste. You just show up on a Thursday night and you can make bowls. You can throw a bowl. You can do like the like all the different stuff I ever did in middle school, and I can make bowls and stuff, and it was so fun. And I got to work with all the clay, and Drew's really excited. I don't exactly know why. But then, they go through, they fire them, they glaze them. And then the best part is they sell those bowls later on. And then all the proceeds go to a food bank, I believe, right, Dale?
Yep. So we have a food bank called Gleaner's Food Bank. It's a very well-known food bank that's here in Detroit. And Pewabic Pottery itself, my wife works for it. That's why we actually go there and do the event. But it's like exactly what Josh said. We go there about 6 or 7 weeks ahead of time every week. We make the bowls, we glaze the bowls, and then we sell the bowls for all the proceeds go to the food bank. And then also during that time frame, people bring in food to donate as well. And it's really cool because all the bowls that we do, they're really relatively cheap, anywhere from $5 to $15. But then some of the artists actually donate bowls from either around the area, or some of the artists that are actually from Pewabic, they actually make more elegant bowls or a set of bowls, and they'll sell them for more money as well. But like Josh said, it's all reclaimed clay. It's all volunteer work. And it's actually really fun because it's something that most people don't get to do anymore, throw on a wheel or play with clay anymore. So it's definitely
no ghosting.
No ghosting. That's a rule. But it's something that's different. That's something to do on a Thursday night. Get to hang out, listen to music, drink wine or whatever that they have there, and we get to help our community, and it's a really fun experience. But Pewabic Pottery, actually, a little background there. They've been around since 1903 in Detroit. Always a Detroit-based pottery place. They make tile. They make tons of different stuff. We are not sponsored by them in any way, but because my wife works for them, if you guys want to check it out, there's a link in the description. It'll go to their main page. You can look at stuff there. Nothing comes to us. It's just pretty cool. A little more pricey on the pricey side, but very high quality. So check it out.
That's
true.
Super.
Oh my God.
Speaking
You were
of
holding
Super
on to that
Bowls,
the entire time. That's why you were smiling.
Speaking of Super Bowls.
I was like, hey, like Drew was in like theater and arts and stuff in high school. Like he might actually really like this. Like I bet he likes crafting bowls.
I actually, that was my favorite thing to do in art class, was like the pottery. The ones that I really like to do were the big vases. Like I would make some crazy big vases.
You totally couldn't. But if you were in Michigan, you totally could have done that on Thursday with me.
I know. Which is why we should have went the weekend before, not the weekend.
I got to tell you a story, and this is a funny story. So I have a buddy named Kyle. He's actually been on the podcast during a Apples to Apples online event with us. And my wife is actually doing on Monday nights. She has a class that she is taking part of, kind of learn more of how to sculpt clay, how to do stuff with clay. She's actually in the marketing department there. She's actually the marketing director. But point is, she's trying to learn more skills to hone her skills. And it's called Building Hand Workshop, because at the end of the class, they actually have to build a hand out of clay. So it's very ornate, very unique. But something funny is, I keep telling my wife, is like, so what's the hand position you're going to do? Are you going to do something just like weird or whatever? And Kyle, when we're talking about this, without skipping a beat, he's like, make it holding a roll of quarters. And my wife, she's like, I don't get it. And to me, I'm thinking, you want it to act like it's jerking off a dick. And we couldn't stop laughing after that. So it was very unique.
Or a fishing pole, Dale.
Yeah, I bet it's holding a fishing pole.
Well, that is not super, but those bowls, I bet, are. The next bit here, though, is Super Bowl 52.
The most American Super Bowl we're ever going to have, probably.
Philadelphia Eagles versus the New England Patriots.
I don't know why they're not called the Boston Patriots.
Shut up, Dale.
Because then there'd be the tea parties.
The
Boston tea parties. So that's going to be at US Bank Stadium in Minneapolis. Dale, are you going to go sit outside?
What?
You're going to travel to Minneapolis and sit outside?
No.
Why not?
I don't fly for free anymore.
He could have.
I was like, yeah, I had the option to, but just to get into the city probably nowadays is probably more difficult with the Super Bowl. But the Super Bowl is on February 4th, which is in 2 weeks from Sunday. So check that out.
Yeah. We're excited. I mean,
I'm excited for football.
I always watch this.
Jeez.
We missed this whole bit here. The featured halftime show artist is Justin Timberlake, and this is his second time back.
Second time since the Janet
since Boobgate.
Yep.
Or Nipplegate. Is that what they called it? Nipplegate.
I think it was Nipplegate. Yeah.
So, but I'm skeptical. Josh, why am I skeptical?
Because of the new single?
Yes, his new single. Dale, do you know what his new single's called?
No.
It's supposed to be a country hit called Filthy. And it's very recent, within like 2018. I don't think it dropped before the new year. But it's called Filthy, and it's supposed to be a country music hit. And you should just take a listen to it and see if you think it's country. And I'm skeptical. Justin Timberlake, better keep them boobies in check.
So I'm not sure if you guys watch this. I think Josh does. Philip DeFranco has a vlog channel. He also does. And in the show, there's one of the employees that work for Philip DeFranco. His name is Zach. And I swear to God, Zach looks identical to a young Justin Timberlake.
I've seen him.
Yeah. Identical.
That's the
Vloggity.
The Vloggity? Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I think it looks funny. That's why I mentioned it.
Yeah. So we're going to kick over to Science News here. Just kind of talk about this here. Whose news was this? Was this Dale's? Do you want?
This was mine. Yeah. We're stuck on the China thing, or the Asian culture this time.
China.
So the first
Not
successful
the wrestler, but
who?
The wrestler, China.
The wrestler China.
Yeah.
There's a wrestler named China.
Yeah.
Not anymore.
No, I mean not anymore, but
cool.
She's dead.
She?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh wow. Why is she dead? She's old?
Don't remember why she died.
Yeah,
it was pretty shocking though. Like it wasn't like a planned thing.
Yeah.
We'll figure that out later.
She was on like 40.
Let's go back to Happy China.
Yeah.
Happy China. So the first successful clone of a monkey was just done this past week, or at least the news of it released this past week. This was done by the Chinese Academy of Sciences in Shanghai. This was the first successful clone of a primate or anything along that lines. And this is a little caption I'm going to read from their website, or from the article that I posted. Since Dolly's birth in 1996, which Dolly was the first sheep clone ever created, scientists have cloned nearly 24 kinds of mammals, including dogs, cats, pigs, cows, and polo ponies, and have also created human embryos with this method. But until now, they have been unable to make babies this way in primates. The categories include monkeys, apes, and people, or humans. So with this new process, or whatever they're doing, they're able to, hopefully within the next few years, clone people.
So what you're saying is we could clone ourselves, get them, like keep them in chambers till they grew to adult sizes, and then harvest their organs to live infinitely.
That is actually an ethical question that's been raised before in like real scientific papers.
I was like, I think there's movies based on that exact same thing.
That too.
Oh yeah.
Ryan Reynolds, wasn't it?
Yeah, Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah, Ryan Reynolds. He was like drinking and his liver was shot. And he was like, I'm getting a new one tomorrow.
Yeah. Missed opportunity, China, for you guys to do this in the year of the monkey.
Yeah.
2018 is the year of the dog. So
what was the year of the monkey? Did you?
I have no idea.
Last year was the year of the cock.
I just
rooster.
I just wanted to
No,
check it. I'm like, oh my God, please let this be the year of the monkey. And then I checked and I was like, oh, it's not, darn. But would have been funny. Would have been funny.
But it's good to hear some, positive stuff in the science community coming out of China.
It would have been 2028.
Would have been?
Or, that would have been how long it would take. It would have had to have been 2028. The most recent one was 2016. So 2 years ago.
2 years ago. Dang it. Screwing the pooch here. Monkey pooch.
Well, do you guys have anything else to add for this week?
Yeah. So I had a really nice drive to and from Michigan, and I said I'd talk about it on the podcast quickly here. They installed new superchargers, one new one in Michigan, one new one in Iowa. So now maximum time I needed to charge to get there was like a half hour. So my trip that I was driving for, half hour was like the maximum charge time I needed. I ended up sleeping 2 hours in one spot just because I needed to get some rest. But was just fine driving there to Michigan, and just had a really nice, easy drive there. On the way back, it was raining in Michigan, sunny and 60 degrees in Chicago. And until I got to Iowa City, like it was like almost 60 degrees and sunny, and I was really excited about that. And then I got to Des Moines, and like I swear it was like Jotunheim.
Jotunheim. We discussed this. I proved it to you. It's Heim.
It's where all the frost giants were. Because there was a huge snowstorm that hit Omaha, Colorado, and everything over the weekend, and
that thing was brutal.
It was bad, and I drove through it.
Yeah.
I can't believe it.
How did that affect your battery performance? Because you haven't driven long distance in the snow.
So I was really worried that it was going to affect battery performance, and I guess it would have had I been going like interstate speeds. But because I didn't exceed 45 miles an hour the entire, like from Des Moines to Omaha, 150 miles or whatever. I didn't go faster than 45.
That's
So I was just white knuckling at 45 the entire time.
Well, that was like
I wanted to ask you that. How did the autonomy work with the snow?
I didn't even try it. Like I had adaptive cruise control on for the beginning, and I was following a semi truck for a while, and then when I felt that like we kept slowing down more and more, I didn't want there to be like a case where like
they didn't see the semi.
Yeah, like like the semi like goes off the road and I need to slow down.
Does the Tesla detect the snow?
That was the other thing too. So my sensors were starting to. So it uses the radar in the front, and as the snow was blowing and hitting my car, it started blocking the radar in the front. So like I kept getting like it was like, oh, there's a car right in front of you, and I was like, no, there's not. Like, and so it was like almost trying to stop on its own. So they like in the autopilot software, it's like do not use in snowy conditions. Like it specifically says not to.
Yeah.
So I didn't even try to risk it.
My backup sensors on my car, because the back was like wind caked with snow. That same morning, I turned my backup, like cleaned off my backup camera to back into a parking spot, but it was beeping at me. It was like, don't go. There's no, and I was like, there's no cars anywhere near me. And I went back and I realized that all my sensors had been covered in snow. So it was like immediately sensing that there was something there.
Yeah. The video camera to monitor the lanes worked actually pretty well, even though the snow was covering the lane markings.
Well, it was
because the tracks where our wheels were driving were pretty clear and it was like defined white lines on either side. It like was like, oh, well, stay in between those white lines. And I was like, yeah, that's kind of cool that the car was doing that.
Do you keep the like the
you can't keep lane keep assist on and not have cruise control on.
Okay.
Yeah, unfortunately. But yeah, so I white knuckled it and took it home. But I was really surprised that going there, it was very cold and I made pretty good mileage. And then coming back, because I was driving so slow, I didn't actually have to stop in Council Bluffs. I was able to just continue going right through Des Moines, right through Omaha, and into
I think it would be called
Bellevue.
Battery economy, not fuel economy.
It's called fuel economy. I listened to Bill Nye's book the other day, and he called it fuel economy. It's just using electricity.
He could be wrong.
Fuel type. It's Bill Nye. He's not wrong about a lot of things.
I was like, Bill Nye only has the same degree I have, so
he has honorary doctorates, which you definitely do not have.
Yet.
He could though.
Yes.
SexyNerdScience could get him some really good invitations to speak and get some honorary doctorates.
Oh yeah.
Me too.
So I believe that wraps it up for this week, guys.
Yeah, it does. I'm pretty excited to be there. Just a couple bits here. You guys can check us out on SexyNerdScience.com. Go find out who our Sexy Nerd of the Month is there.
This month is Papa Bear.
Papa Bear, yes.
We had him on last week's episode.
His all of his stuff is Papa Bear cosplay, Instagram, Facebook. I think he just recently got a Twitter. So, and then you guys can check us out on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. Like and follow and subscribe at those places. And then SoundCloud, iTunes, TuneIn, and Podcast Addicts, where you can find us, if not on SexyNerdScience.com. And we've got merch at Teespring and our soon-to-be released Patreon, and then Audible for the free trial that we always tote here for you. You guys sign up for that free trial. It helps us out, helps us get some content cash, we'll call it, so we can keep bringing you content and get you things like our Ming Chen interview or the trip to CES. I know Dale had got a really nice piece of equipment for that. So, and that stuff's not
the auto show.
No, I'm sorry. What did I say?
CES. I wish we got to go to CES.
I keep saying CES. I don't know why.
We'd buy the professional body-mounted gimbal if we were to go to CES.
But yeah, so Dale got a gimbal, and like I said, that stuff's not inexpensive. So,
double negatives there. Currently, I'm reading or listening to on Audible Unstoppable, Harnessing Science to Change the World, read to you and authored by Bill Nye the Science Guy. So definitely recommend that book. We might need to talk about it next week, but Bill Nye goes into excruciatingly good detail about how he modernized his house in California to take advantage of solar heat, solar power, and a bunch of other things. So
we didn't even talk about the tariff. We'll talk about that next week.
Oh my gosh, the tariff.
All right, guys. Thank you for checking out Sexy Nerd Science, and go like, subscribe, and follow us on all of our social media.
Goodbye then.
We'll catch you. I hate you.
Quick and easy. Bye-bye, guys.
Catch you next week.